So, as you're coming down, probably about 5 miles, roughly. Let me think. Yeah, about 5 miles. 5 miles upriver from where the pyramid is in Memphis. Well, the buoy line runs you right down towards that Tennessee shore. So what you're going to do is roughly, I try to stay anywhere from 600 to 200 feet off the bank. Uh, and usually it's a happy medium, but I play it for what the river's doing and what it's dictating. If it's a high water and there's more, it's swifter. Not necessarily above the bridge it gives you problems, but right below it, even right below the I-40 bridge is easier. It's easier to make. You can jump out. I've made the center span southbound before. But really what I'm doing on the upper bridge is I'm setting myself up for the lower bridge. Handling characteristics of the boat, how the water is, how the tow's handling. I'm judging a lot of that stuff. And then you start driving down towards the bridge. As you're coming through the upper bridge, I put my 1 mile ring out, and it's going to shape the shore down below, the Tennessee shore. That kind of gets you down in there, because the tendency in especially a swifter running river is you're trying to stay out towards the middle. But actually on the lower bridge, you actually have to get over to the bank. You're favoring the bank. You're actually on the bank. So there's that trick of getting next to the bank without hitting the bank. So that's just showing, you have to get the perfect angle to go down through there. And it's a judgment call. There's a lot of marks. I don't know, they call it, I don't know what it's called, but one of the marks that I used the most was, I ran an easy distance, which is what I was told, and I've discussed easy distance. 400 foot, 2 to 400 foot, just off the top of my head. We'll say 300 foot off the bank. On the I-40 bridge coming down. Then you start shaping out that shore with that 1 mile ring. As you come through the upper bridge, you'll start picking up the shore down between the bridges. Shape it up, and what that does is it gets you down in there where you need to be. The key to that is, it's not in swifter current. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's a feel. It's a feel. You have marks, but then a lot of it's feeling the boat. I mean, and it's not anything that I possess, some superpower. It's just those marks and boat handling and all that kind of just comes into one, and you just have a feel. But I have a better feel because of my knowledge. My knowledge of the river was not gained miraculously, in some dream. It was taught. I had guys teach me. A lot of the river guys that are still out there today, a bunch of them, I've learned from through the years. There's different ways and different things you can line up on the I-40 bridge. I mean, on the Memphis bridges. There's lots of different ways and different things to look at. And I tell people that, and I even try to think of the ways that, the marks that I used to have when I started out. And that kind of lining up pillars and then pulling up on those and running my 1 mile ring. Those are ones I remember, but there's so many more, using background and foreground and stuff like that. Things that you look at for specific toe size and river conditions. But that's why, when people talk about getting a feel for it, well, that feel is based on a lot of things, like I say, specific handling characteristics of the boat, stage of river, falling, it just anything. There's swings of 50-foot difference in actual water level on the bank, 50 feet up in the air in high water, whereas in low water you're down. It can fluctuate that much, but over a short period of time, sometimes a few months, it can really big fluctuations. Anyway, that's my ramble about Memphis bridges. As far as the lower I-55, just as long as you shape out the shore, when you can see to the good side, when the pilot house, you can see to the inside, the downriver pier of the center span. I'm running the Tennessee shore. when I can see the good side, I can see the good side of the downriver pier, then I know I'm to the good side of it with my head, and usually that's the tow or the boat or whatever I've got going down through there. And then you just play that and try to keep it in there tight where you're tucked in on that. You don't want to get too good. If you come in there like that and you're not seeing the good side of it, once you see the good side of it, you can hold it. Now, experience is going to dictate what you do. All you heavy tow heroes out there, y'all know what I'm talking about. You hold that pier, and if it's dead water and it's, nothing, air falling river, whatever, you pull off of it. Because the tendency, if you get out there and you're really giving it, that's what I say, upriver on 55, on I-40 and above, I get a feel for how swift the current is and what it's doing. So there's a lot of stuff that I feel on that Tennessee shore as far as, how the boat's handling is what's going to dictate on how close I get to that right-hand pier as I'm coming down through the 55 bridge. Shape it, hold it. Ideally, you're shoving out, your stern's coming off the bank and you're driving away from the bank right as you're coming through, the wheelhouse is coming through the 55 bridge. And then you're not going to take out the boat store and all that stuff down below, but you're setting yourself up for the turn below, and also you can pull around. If once you've kind of got her pulled out around there real good, I always act like I'm going to try to not hit that lower pier, but when I know I've got the bridge made, I'd steer hard towards it and try to get as much as I can. That way I can get that turn made down below. If I've got boats holding up, I can lift my stern and I'm not going to get in too deep in the bend. So, it gives me options. Anyway, Memphis bridges, southbound. Captain Kyle, Mark Twain's take on that.